Well, he was...
Remember when Luke Littler lost 7-4 to Luke Humphries in the 2024 World Championship final? That emotional teenager who came so close to glory. Well, he's gone. The player who just demolished Humphries 6-1 in the 2025 World Grand Prix final is someone completely different. Littler became the youngest Grand Prix champion in history, delivering a performance so clinical it left Humphries admitting he needs to dedicate everything and work even harder than I ever have, just to keep up. This isn't the same raw talent we fell in love with. This is a calculated surgical finisher who played like he'd been doing this for decades. So what transformed that heartbroken teenager into this ruthless champion? The answer starts with that painful defeat itself.
This year, by a mile, by the way. No one's had a poke. No one's even hit the 8th star. 2 sets up.
That 7-4 defeat to Humphries wasn't just a loss. It was Littler's education in how to beat the world's best players. Every mistake he made that night became a lesson he'd carry forward. The 2024 World Championship final exposed the difference between having talent and having a championship mentality. The match started well for Littler, but as it progressed, the pressure began to show. While he had demonstrated exceptional skill throughout the tournament, the final against the more experienced Humphries highlighted where his youth became apparent. The teenager was facing someone who knew exactly how to handle the biggest stage in darts. Humphries stayed ice cold throughout the entire match. His stone-like confidence never wavered, whether he was hitting a 180 or missing a double. The world #1 kept the same expression, the same pace, the same pre-throw routine throughout the match. When pressure moments arrived, he treated them like practice sessions in his garage. The real education came in watching how Humphries controlled the pace and rhythm of the match. He knew when to slow things down, when to take his time between throws. The veteran understood that winning finals isn't just about hitting your shots, it's about controlling the entire environment around those shots. Every tactical decision was calculated.
That aren't the 5th leg, and Luke Littler's up 3-0 in the ones that are a 5th leg.
It's all timing, John. You've only got to win the big legs.
What Littler learned that night was that raw ability only gets you so far. You need systems that work under any pressure. You need routines that stay identical whether you're playing in a local pub or at Alexandra Palace. Most importantly, you need to play your own game instead of reacting to what your opponent is doing. The defeat taught him that champions don't just possess talent, they possess mental resilience and tactical awareness that comes from experience. Humphries had navigated crucial deciding legs with the composure of someone who'd been there before. His ability to remain composed in pressure moments was the difference between them that night. Every moment after that final became a learning opportunity for Littler. He studied how Humphries had manipulated the match situation. He analyzed the tactical decisions that had cost him. The loss became his textbook for understanding what it takes to win at the highest level. The 2024 final wasn't a setback. It was the blueprint for dismantling Humphries later. Littler had seen firsthand what championship mentality looked like. He'd experienced the difference between reaching a final and winning one. That painful lesson would fuel his rapid transformation from promising teenager to calculated finisher. But learning from defeat is one thing. What Littler did with those lessons would prove he'd absorbed every detail of that night. The player who would face Humphries again had studied that blueprint until he knew it better than Humphries himself.
For a break. Go on, pals!
117.
Well, you feel there's going to be pressure on that when he comes back.
When they faced off again, the 6-1 scoreline tells you Littler won, but it doesn't tell you how ruthlessly he controlled every single moment. From the first dart to the last, this was a masterclass in tactical demolition. While Humphries actually posted a higher average of 93.61 compared to Littler's 92.15, the numbers don't tell the real story. Littler approached this final with a completely different game plan than the World Championship. Where the teenage prodigy once relied purely on natural talent, this version of Littler played with calculated precision. He looked tentative at first, but then something clicked. He shifted gears completely and started executing a deliberate strategy that had clearly been rehearsed hundreds of times in practice. You could see the exact moment when Humphries realized he was facing a different player. After Littler secured the second set with a clinical 64 checkout to take a 2-set advantage, Humphries' body language changed. The world number 1 started taking longer between throws. His usual ice-cold composure showed tiny cracks. He was trying to use the same rhythm disruption tactics that had worked so well against teenage Littler before. But this time, those tactics backfired completely. Littler had learned to control the pace himself. When Humphries slowed down, Littler simply adjusted and stayed relaxed. When the pressure mounted, he got more clinical, not less. The proof came in those crucial deciding legs. He kept winning the pressure legs, took the decider in the first 4 sets, and then again in the last set. No emotion, just execution. The most revealing moment came in the opening leg of the third set when Littler narrowly missed a televised 9-dart finish. He got 8 darts into a 9-darter before missing the bull. A year ago, that near miss might have rattled him. Instead, he calmly regrouped while Humphries missed 4 darts at double, then stepped up to win the leg anyway. The pressure that once broke him now seemed to fuel him. Littler was using the same psychological warfare that Humphries had deployed against him. When Humphries missed doubles, Littler capitalized immediately without giving him time to recover.
He's changed his throw, Luke Littler. Decides to put a little pause in there. Maybe at 4-1 up, he's got a bit bored.
When the crowd got loud after big scores, Littler maintained his rhythm while Humphries seemed affected by the noise. The student had become the teacher. His tactical awareness reached another level entirely. Even when he missed 2-set darts in the third set, he recovered to seal it with a 104 finish. This wasn't lucky hitting, this was surgical precision under maximum pressure. He knew exactly when to attack and when to play safe. He recognized Humphries' weak moments and pounced on them without hesitation. The pace and rhythm Littler set disrupted Humphries' usually unshakable composure more than anyone expected. Humphries hit more 100-plus scores and 180s than Littler, but it didn't matter. Littler was controlling the tempo of every leg, forcing Humphries to play catch-up instead of setting his own game plan. The world number 1 looked uncomfortable for the first time in months. By the 6th set, the match had moved beyond a good performance into something more dominant. Commentators described Littler as ruthless throughout, a word nobody used to describe the emotional teenager from the World Championship. This was systematic destruction of a world champion's confidence and game plan. The most telling sign came after the match when Humphries himself admitted the reality of what had happened. He said, "I have to just get better, practice harder. If I don't, he will just run away with everything. I have to dedicate everything to being a dart player and work even harder than I ever have. I want to match him." The world number 1 was essentially conceding that Littler had set a new standard that he now had to chase. Littler didn't just beat Humphries, he beat him using Humphries' own playbook, then added improvements the veteran hadn't even thought of yet. But the scoreline and the tactics only tell part of the story. The real transformation wasn't in his throwing arm or his finishing power.
Savvy setup.
This is a dangerous moment here for Humphries.
This feels like a leg, John, where Littler's thrown first in it. It's been that.
It was the complete rewiring of his mental approach to competition. Watch him at the Oki now, and you'll see a player who has mastered the psychological side of darts in ways that took other champions years to develop. The difference between his 2024 breakthrough season and his current dominance isn't just experience, it's a complete mental revolution. Back in 2024, Littler played on pure instinct and natural talent. When pressure mounted, you could see the emotional teenager who had captured hearts at Alexandra Palace. His face showed every emotion, the highs of big finishes and the lows of missed doubles. He played like the teenager he was, reacting to each moment as it came. The player who dismantled Humphries operates with surgical precision. His ability to handle pressure in major finals has become his defining characteristic. 7 major televised titles later, he's proven that his mental game has evolved far beyond his years. When crowd noise erupts after a 180, he doesn't rush or get caught up in the moment. He waits, composes himself, and executes when he's ready. His tournament results tell the story of this mental transformation better than any analysis could.
Finish with a flourish.
He's not going to finish with a 9. Well, he might if he loses this leg.
There you go.
From losing that heartbreaking World Championship final to winning multiple major titles including the Grand Prix, each victory has built his confidence and composure. The progression is clear. He's learned to close out matches without giving opponents any lifeline. The way he's learned to use his youth has become a psychological weapon. While opponents expect a teenager to crack under pressure, Littler stays relaxed when the stakes are highest. Veteran players try to intimidate him with slow play or aggressive body language, but he treats these tactics like minor distractions. His youthful energy actually helps him maintain focus longer than older players who might tire mentally during marathon matches. His stated goal of pursuing world #1 status reveals the mental maturity that shouldn't exist at his age. Most teenagers would be content with their early success, but Littler has set his sights on overtaking Humphries completely. This ambition drives every practice session and every tournament appearance. He's not just playing for wins anymore, he's building a systematic approach to dominating the sport. The most dangerous development is his ability to perform under maximum pressure without losing his nerve. Once he gets ahead, he becomes relentless about maintaining that advantage. He doesn't ease up when leading.
And he's in.
120.
Cannot.
When he sees weakness in an opponent's game, he attacks it immediately and consistently until the match is over. Players like Humphries now struggle to read his game because Littler has eliminated the emotional reactions that used to give away his mental state. His composure stays consistent whether he's winning or losing. His approach doesn't change based on match situation. Opponents can't gauge his confidence level or spot moments of vulnerability the way they could during his breakthrough year. This mental discipline extends to his tactical decisions during matches. He's learned when to play safe and when to attack. He recognizes patterns in opponents' games and adjusts his strategy accordingly. When faced with the same pressure situations that broke him in 2024, he now makes calculated decisions rather than emotional reactions. The combination is what makes this version of Littler so dangerous. He still has the fearless approach of youth. He'll attempt shots that veteran players might consider too risky. But now he has the mental framework to execute those shots under maximum pressure. He's not thinking about consequences or what might go wrong. He's following systems that work automatically. Littler has combined teenage fearlessness with championship-level mental discipline in ways that shouldn't be possible at his age. This mental evolution has already produced 7 major titles and consistent performance in high-pressure situations. But the numbers only hint at what this transformation really means for professional darts. Littler isn't just getting better, he's redefining what peak performance looks like at 18 years old. The gap between him and world #1 Humphries has shrunk to just over £70,000 in prize money. That's terrifying for everyone else on tour. Phil Taylor said it best. Darts has gone crazy. You wouldn't believe the difference since young Luke came along. 7 major titles across 2024 and 2025 show this isn't a hot streak, it's a new reality. He's already earned well over £1 million in prize money. His pursuit of world #1 represents a fundamental shift in darts hierarchy. When Humphries admits he needs to work harder than I ever have to match Littler's level, you know the sport has found its new king.